بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وسلم على نبينا Muhammad وعلى أهله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. The manners of the knowledge seeker Muhammad Said Raslan. Reduce socialization and choose the right friends. People have always been greatly divided over the issue of mixing and seclusion. So, some went with the opinion that one should always mix with the people, and some went with the opinion that one should always seclude himself from the people, and everyone is satisfied with this point of view. And Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, Allah on him, touched upon this issue and clarified the dispute, saying, this issue, even though the people have referred over it, either partially or completely, the reality of it is that mixing with people is sometimes obligatory or commanded. The same individual can sometimes be the same individual can sometimes be obligated to mix with others and can at other times be obligated to separate from them. The way to properly understand between these stands is to realize that mixing, if it involves cooperation upon good and pity, is obligatory, and if it involves cooperation upon sin and transgression, is forbidden. Mixing with the Muslim for the purpose of congregation acts of worship, such as the five prayers, the Friday prayer, the Eid prayer, the eclipse prayer, the prayer for rain, istiqa, etc., is from what Allah and His Messenger commanded. Such is also the case when mixing with the people during the Hajj to fight the disbelievers, Khawarij, and rebels, even if the leaders and participants in such activities are corrupt. It is also the case with the gathering in which the worshipper can increase his faith, either because of it benefiting him or benefiting him or he benefiting it. And a person must have time alone to engage in supplication, remembrance, prayer, reflection, taking himself to account and rectify his act. These are issues that nobody else can participate with him in, and these are affairs that need to be seen to on an individual basis, whether at home or otherwise. At Awu said, how excellent of a refugee how excellent is a refuge is the home. In it, one can restrain his grace and his tongue, so it is incorrect to mix with people unrestrictedly, and it is incorrect to seclude yourself from people unrestrictedly, as for exactly how much every person needs for each and what is best for him at all times. This is something that requires further investigation. What is best is that one sometimes speak from the various types of worship based on the inherent virtue. Prayer is in itself better than recitation of the Quran, recitation is better than dhikr, and dhikr is better than supplication, and sometimes based on what time of day he is in recitation, dhikr, and supplication after Fajr and Asr are prepared over prayer, and sometimes based on the physical position he is in, dhikr and supplication in bowing and prostration are legislated instead of recitation of the Quran, and dhikr and supplication during tawaf is legislated by consensus, where recitation of the Quran during tawaf is deferred over, and sometimes based on its location, what is suggested at Arafah, Muzdalifah, at Jamar, and at Safa and Marwa is dhikr and supplication instead of prayer, etc. And tawaf of the sacred house for the visitors is better than prayer, and prayer is better for the inhabitant of Makkah, and sometimes based on the appropriateness of the worship for the person. Jihad for men is better than Hajj, while the jihad of women is Hajj, and obedience to the husband is better than obedience to the father for the married woman, as opposed to the single woman who is commanded to obey her father. And sometimes based on the capability of the servant, as the worship is capable, as the worship he is capable of is better than for him, and the worship he is incapable of, even what he is incapable of is inherently better. This is a point where many people go to extreme and follow their desires. Some people who see a certain action as being better for them due to their own circumstances, or due to it being more beneficial to their heart and a better way to obey their Lord, wish to then make this the best action for everyone around them, and proceeds to command them to do the same. And Allah sent Muhammad ﷺ with the book and wisdom, and made him to be a mercy and guide for the servants, commanding each person with what is best for them. So the Muslim should be a well-wisher to every person wanting what is best for them. And the scholars, may Allah be with them, will mix with the people and teach them, while simultaneously being the best careful of people, wasting their time. And Ahmad, may Allah be with him, was the most patient of people upon being alone, despite the fact that he was the Imam of the world during his time. His son Abdullah, he said, my father, went out to Tarsus on foot, performed Hajj 2 or 3 times on foot, and he was the most patient of people upon being alone. Bishr, despite his status, was unable to remain by himself and would always go out to see this person and that. So mixing and socialization should not be with one who has a dead heart, as is like a highway robber. Rather, it should be one who will increase you in faith and action. Ibn Qayyim said, the one with a dead heart will make you feel lonely. So take advantage of his absence as much as possible, because you will not feel lonely except when he is with you. If you are put to travel with him, give him your outer attention. Wander from him with your heart, separate your inner self from him, and not let him distract you from what is more deserving of your attention. Know that the greatest of losses is for you to be preoccupied with one who will bring you nothing but a loss in your time with Allah, the Mighty and Majestic, and being cut off from him, wasting of your time on him, weakening of your energy, and dispersing of your attention. So if you are tested with this, and you must be tested with this, deal with him according to how Allah will wish, and be patient with him as much as possible. Get closer to Allah and His pleasure by way of this person, and make you are getting together with him something to benefit from, not something to incur a loss from. Be with him as if you are a man who is on a road, who was stopped by another man, who then asks you to take him on a journey. Make sure that you are the one who gives him a ride, and that is not the one giving you the ride. If he refuses, and there is nothing to gain from traveling with him, do not stop for him. Bid him farewell, and do not even turn back to look at him, as he is a highway robber, regardless of who he really is. So save your heart. Be wary of how you spend your days and nights, and not let the sun set you arrive at your destination. So the student of knowledge should abandon socialization, as this is from the most crucial things that he can do, especially in regards to members of the opposite gender, and especially with those who spend most of their time in amusement and little of their time in doubt, as the nature of others can rob you of your own. The harms of socialization include the passing of your life without any benefit, as well as the decline of your wealth and religious commitment if this socialization were to occur with the wrong people. The student of knowledge should not mix except with those who can benefit or can benefit from. If he is offered the friendship of one who will waste his time with him, will not benefit him, and will not assist him in reaching his objective, he should politely end the relationship from the start before it progresses to something deeper. As when something becomes established, it becomes more difficult to change it. There is a phrase that is constantly on the tongues of the scholars: repelling something is easier than removing it. If it requires someone to befriend, let that person be righteous, religious, pure, wary, intelligent, full of benefit, having little evil, good at complying, and rarely conflicting, remaining if he forget, cooperate with him when he is reminded, helpful if he is in need, and comforting if he is in distress. Ibn Qudamah, Allah of him, said, know that not everyone is suitable to be a friend. You must verify that this potential friend has the necessary characteristics that make friendship with him something to be desired. The one you seek to befriend must have 5 characteristics. He must be intelligent. There is no good in befriending an idiot, as he will only harm you when he wants to benefit you. By intelligent, we mean one he understands things as they are on his own, or if they are explained to him. He must have good manners, and this is a must. One who is simply intelligent might be overcome by anger or desire, and obeys the desire, that there will be no benefit in befriending him. He must not be a fasik. Such a person will not fear Allah, and whoever does not fear Allah cannot be trusted. Na'am. He must not be an innovator, as there is a fear of being overtaken by his innovation. He should not be eager for dunya. Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah pleased with him, said, stick with your true brothers. You can live in comfort with them, as they are delight in times of ease, and you can lean on them in times of hardship. Assume the best about your brother until he comes with something that he should alarm you from. Avoid your enemy, and be of befriending anyone but the trustworthy, and there is no trust for the one who doesn't fear Allah. Do not befriend the corrupt, as he will teach you his corruption, and not reveal your secret to him, and only consult those who fear Allah the Exalted. Yahya bin Mu'ad said, a friend is the one who you don't have to remember you in his application, and that you don't have to flatter and impress, and that you don't have to apologize to, And Abu Ja'far said to his companions, "Can any of you put his hand in the pocket of his brother and take what he wants?" They replied, "No." He said, "Then you are not brothers as you claim, in the rights of brotherhood. And each of you has certain rights upon his brother. You should fulfill his needs, and this is of levels. The least is that you gladly fulfill his needs when you are able and ask you. Better than this is that you fulfill them before he even asks you. And better than all of this is that you put his needs before your own. You should remain silent regarding him at times and speak at times. As for your silence, you should be quiet about his faults, both in his presence and absence. You should not argue or dispute with him, and should not ask him about personal things that he wouldn't want to reveal. If you happen to see him somewhere, don't ask where he is going, as it might be that he doesn't want anyone to know. Don't reveal his secret, even if you fall into a feud afterwards. Also, don't insult his friends and family, and don't inform him if others happen to insult him. Don't say anything that could annoy him, except if this involves something that must be said, such as commanding the good or forbidding the evil. This will actually be a way of being good to him. I know you will never find a friend who is completely free of fault. Instead, look for someone whose good qualities outweigh his bad. Once you are stricken judging people, then you are in judging yourself. You fall into Allah saying, الذين إذا كتالوا على الناس يستوفون وإذا كالوهم وزنهم يخسرون. Those who, when they have to receive by measure from men, demand full measure, and when they have to give by measure or weigh to men, give less than their due. And know that one of the greatest means by which hatred and envy come between two brothers is useless argumentation. This leads to nothing but each side trying to show itself as being better and smarter than the other, belittling the other, etc. And he who speaks argument with his brother has actually made him out to be stupid, low, heedless, and incompetent. And all of this is considered for belittlement. This inflames the heart and makes one person hate the other, and this all contrary to what brotherhood is all about. The right of brotherhood is also entailed that you say certain things, just as you have to remain silent from saying what you shouldn't say. You should also say what should be said. In fact, this is from the most particular right of brotherhood, because the one who wants to befriend the mute can go to the graveyard. The point of brotherhood is that you benefit from your brother, not that you are relieved of him. So you should strengthen your ties of brotherhood with words by asking about him, asking how things are going. Let him know that you are concerned about him, and be happy with what makes him happy. You should refer to him in the best light and praise him to others for the good that you know of him. You should also speak well of his family, children, actions, even his character, intellect, appearance, personality, and everything that can make him happy, without going to extremes or saying what is untrue. Likewise, you should inform him if someone says something good about him, while showing him that you are happy about this, and as to hide such joy is tantamount to envy. You should thank him for anything he does for you, and defend him in his absence if he is mentioned in bad light, as the right between brothers is that they rush to defend and assist one another. You should teach and advise him, as your brother's need for knowledge is not any less than his need for money. So if you have been blessed with a wealth of knowledge, distribute it and guide him, and you should advise him in secret. And the difference between advising and condemning is whether you do it in public or private. Likewise, the difference between ignoring the fault of your brother and compromising with him is all in the purpose of doing so. So if you ignore his fault for the sake of religious benefit, or you see that this will lead to his long-term benefit, you are not compromising. If you put aside his fault for your own personal benefit, you are compromising. You should supplicate for your brother during his life and after his death for everything you want for yourself. Abu Darda, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said, "The supplication of a Muslim man for his brother in his absence is accepted, and there is an angel appointed for each supplication of a man for his brother with the good who says, Allah accepted, and gave him the same that he asked for his friend." And Abu Darda used to supplicate for many of his brothers, mentioning them by name in his supplication. Likewise, Ahmad bin Hanbal used to supplicate at one for 6 specific individuals. You should make a pact. You should make a pact to love your brother until death, and to love his family and friends after his death. You should also not stop being humble with him, even if you end up exceeding him in wealth and status. From the implication of this pact, it is also that you do not listen to criticism of a friend from others, and that you do not befriend his enemies. We should also not task him with what he cannot bear. Rather, you should try to relieve him of his own concerns and pressures, and should not use his friendship to get to his wealth or resources, and should not pressure him to go out of his way to help you. Rather, your love of him should only be for Allah's pleasure, and to deal with him in easygoing and reserved manner. Not he will not hesitate to ask of you what you will ask of him. Jafar bin Muhammad said, "The most difficult friends are those who are a burden on me, and I try to avoid, and the easiest of friends are those whose presence is just as burdensome as their absence. That is, they are not at all burdensome." So the student of knowledge should be sure to avoid those who should not be befriended in order to preserve his time and protect his heart. He should choose the friend who will help him in the matters of religion and the hereafter. And Al-Khawarizmi, may Allah have mercy on him, said, "Don't befriend one who is lazy." How many righteous people have been corrupted by the corrupt? The steadfast are quickly infected by the lazy, and burning coals simmer down when drawn into ashes. I know.